So what I want to talk about today is that the fact that the language, that there's a voice out there for the Latins and that the progressives, the ones that go to college, and the thing is, the majority of the time it's the girls going to college, and the guys a lot of times are not going to college, and they're doing something with trades, like I said before, like in the Latino world, whatever, Latino world, or they're going straight to work to provide, and then the girls are going to college. And instead of being in tune with their selves, with their culture and all that, they it's like almost turn their back on it. They forget who they are, and they want to change. Like, one big thing is they're trying to change the language. They're saying the Latin, the culture, the language is not inclusive. It's not inclusive to trans or bi, gays, you name it, and that it's not inclusive. So that the fact that there's a gender attributed to the language, so they provide this Latinx thing. It's just so idiotic. And honestly, they're just trying to cuckify the language. They're trying to the one great thing about the language and about a little bit of Latin culture is that it's very it's very it puts men in one spot and women in another spot. So even for the dances like salsa, cumbia, or any of these like they're separating men and women and making sure there's a lead and a follower in those dances. And it's almost the same thing in the language. The language, there's a masculine form, there's a feminine form. So it keeps everyone in check that, hey, there's two genders, and that's how it is. And what they don't like that pisses off these progressive, like 200-pound Latina feminists, blue haired, at college and getting their master's, graduate degree, whatever, memorizing a bunch of words. And it pisses them off so much that there's a language that does that because I think in college they have to start appeasing towards gays and all that, and they don't have a mind of their own. It's almost it's like it's literally it's a state mind, and it teaches them what to think. And yeah, a lot of them, yeah, it's not a lot of them, but a good portion of them go on that whole progressive route and then think Latinx, Latinx. And first of all, it's never going to work. It's never going to work with the actual population. And they keep pushing it in the lobbying groups and, um, yeah, just a bunch of like goblinas trying to lobby and trying to push Latinx onto everyone. And it's not going to work. No one's going to say it. Doesn't even can't even say it in Spanish. It's just it's gonna be a fail overall, but you can kind of see like what they're trying to do. They don't like the fact that the language is just dividing men and women, and I bet they get pissed off at Latin dances like salsa, cumbia, bachata, or all these dances where they divide men and women because there's a leader and a follower, and yeah, they just kind of like they kind of forget who they are, and they try to reinvent in a very dumb and bad way. The language that they probably a lot of times don't even speak. Um, so yeah, there's when you hear about them going to college, um, first of all, it's not the greatest for family dynamics since colleges are kind of anti-family these days. It's kind of an anti-family factory. Uh, but yeah, they're just trying to cookify the language and trying to push it on people that have no power. They're trying to push it. They're trying to lobby. And they think they have this much power, and they try to push it on the majority of people, Latin people that are powerless, pretty much. The masses of any group is pretty much powerless. So, but the thing I hate is that the majority of people in the lobbying or in representation, whether it's reporters or um, any kind of public perception or all of that, it's in the Asian and the Latin community. It's the women that are pushing it, and the men are not in there. The men are, whether it's because most men don't try to go in those places or they're just not sectored in. They're not able to get into those boxes. The women are able to get into those boxes because they're exoticized, so they can leverage their way in and appease and appease to that group, whatever that's in power now. But they can get into the exotic factor. But us, we can't get in. We're just pushed out because we're not in control. Um, So yeah, and then they can just flip the script and do what they want, and then try to boss us around. And yeah, no, yeah, I know for sure. I don't use Latinx, and it's a term that's dumb, and it's just the first of many things they're gonna try to push on us. And yeah, the thing is, majority of Latinos are conservative. They were never progressive. They might have been Democrats, like Clinton Democrats, but um, like progressive these days, yeah, the majority are not progressive. I mean, that's yeah, that doesn't define most of us at all. So yeah, I think the men and women are going to start entering a gender war, just like the whites have had like a gender war recently with the whole Me Too and all these things. Latinos are going to start hating machismo, but Latinas are still like machismo a lot. I mean, my dates have all been Latinas that um, have liked machismo, have like, and that's the reason why sometimes I lost them because I wasn't macho enough. And I don't blame them too much because I'm still learning. You know, I was still learning these skills when I was in my early 20s. So I don't blame them too much, but it's still a market out there, especially with the millennials definitely. And I think even it depends. I mean, if even with the Gen Z, um, but I'll make that another video.